Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. Happy Thursday from wherever you are joining me from. Welcome to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or catching me on replay, I am thrilled and grateful to have you here. We have a really special show, a really special guest. So let's dive right in.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, an award winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. We're streaming here live on many different social media platforms, so I'm grateful to have you here. Please jump in and introduce yourself. Now, first things first, I'm going to give you a quick market update, and then we're going to segue right into my guest today. She is someone you definitely want to meet. In fact, I'm going to guess that you're going to wish she was on your speed dial, but that's okay. That's why we have Level Up, so you can catch her here. Currently, the market's actually in the green, positivity across the board. It's just one of those happy days, I guess. The Dow is currently up 60 points, and NASDAQ is up 172. I love that number. And the S&P 500 is also in the positive, up 33 points. The S&P 500 continues to rise today. Really, they're trying to break a 3-day losing streak that we've seen. I think they're going to be successful, but we got a little bit of time to go before the market closes in about an hour. You know, traders, of course, are paying attention to, and they're really keeping a close eye on Friday's job report. We do know that, of course, the Dow and the S&P 500 have experienced during that first 3-day losing streak since October of this year. That occurred on Wednesday. And, generally sort of fourth quarter numbers are coming in. They're still pretty strong, but we're also looking, of course, the calendar year performance, and we're hoping to end 2023 with some good figures. Now, this week, as I mentioned, the job market has been on focus for maybe you, me, and definitely Wall Street. We're looking at what the numbers are going to look. Weekly jobless claims, of course, were below levels that economists were expecting, and we continue to see jobless claims declining, which indicates a pretty steady labor market. Now, that being said, the concerns about the strength of the labor market are still big because you kind of don't want things to be too good or too bad in order for inflation to come to more lower normal levels. So we're going to pay attention to that data. And of course, I'll keep you posted tomorrow as we come back for In the Loop tomorrow. Now, another bit of news, I want to segue to this story. And I don't know if you've heard this, but I've seen it all over. And this is the news of Alaska Airlines has acquired Hawaiian Airlines for a whopping $1.9 billion. Includes $900 million of Hawaiian Airlines debt. Yeah, so this is going to help Alaska expand destinations. Of course, they already fly to Hawaii. That probably now you'll have more options. Now, I'm really hoping they don't change too much about Hawaiian Airlines because my guess is going to probably touch on this. But if you've flown Hawaiian Airlines, they serve a pretty mighty meal. There's some great beverages. So I'm hoping that doesn't change. But this is going to offer Alaska Airlines to have more service options throughout the Pacific region, the continental United States, and really globally as well. The deal is expected to close in about a year to year and a half from now, and it's received approval from both companies and their boards, but we're not sure if it's going to face scrutiny. Now, remember, scrutiny was something that JetBlue Airways and Spirit Airlines, when they did their merger, that they face a lot of scrutiny, regulatory scrutiny there. So we'll see how quickly this develops. And if I don't know if you're flying to Hawaii next time, we don't know if it'll be Alaska, it'll be Hawaii, who knows? But the top four airlines, American, Southwest, Delta, and United, actually currently control 74% of U.S. flight capacity. So this new Alaska Hawaii merger, the JetBlue Spirit merger, are big, but probably not yet going to be big enough to challenge sort of that top four. But for those of you who are part of that, Hopefully, you think this is a good thing. And if so, congratulations to all of you. Now, I want to share with you some other data that came out that I think will kind of give you a hint of my guest in just a moment. And this is some figures that came out in a recent survey talking about 2023 travel trends versus what's happened in 2019. If you compare these two very specific years, one being pre-pandemic and one being currently we're at I'm not going to say post-pandemic because I think we all agree we're not completely out of the pandemic, but nonetheless, airfare prices have risen up 9.6%. Hotel prices actually have gone up over 15%. And to give you an idea, like to compare that, car rental prices, get this, friends, up 51%. Crazy. So what are we supposed to do when we travel? Like, no transportation. I guess we will see. We'll see what our guest does and what her suggestions are. Without further ado, I want to welcome my dear friend Jeannette here on the show. You might recognize Jeannette. Many of you who are part of the show, I see Joshua joining us. Tell me you don't know her. We all love her. Jeannette, how are you, my friend?
Thank you so much. I'm always so happy to be here with you, Winnie, and everyone, especially talking about my favorite subject in the world, travel. I'm very happy to be here as always. An interesting fact, my first solo trip in my life was actually on Hawaiian Airlines. I went to Hawaii by myself for a 4-day weekend. And so the little connection with that, with what you were speaking about prior. Yeah.
I know, I love that. And Jeanette, so you probably enjoy the Hawaiian Airlines cuisine, right?
I did very much. I'm a foodie. I love to eat, and I do like to try different airlines' food, especially on longer flights. So I do remember that was really good. Yeah.
Well, you are, for those of you who are brand new to the show, Jeanette, she is an award-winning bilingual travel journalist, all-around great human, TV host, travel advisor, global public speaker. She's actually interviewed tons of celebrities, including many that you know. Um, Rick Steves, right? Samantha Brown. She even has her own travel show on TV as well. Anthony Bourdain, the great Anthony Bourdain, who is dearly missed as well, received numerous awards. We got to talk about the awards. I mean, you see so many awards, and you've been honored as a top 40, under 40 honoree. Just this is in Pennsylvania. It's recent. Is this recent?
Yeah, it was recent, and it was quite an honor to be anytime I'm recognized for anything. I am always very shy, if you believe it or not. I'm like, me? Who me? Because I'm so focused on what I'm doing. I often don't take the time to turn around and stop. And this year I also was, as you could see there, I threw the honorary pitch at a baseball game in Texas. And I also was the master of ceremony at the Latino Hotel Association's annual conference during Hispanic Heritage Month. And Los Cabos Tourism Board chose me along with two other incredible travel experts this year during Women's History Month. So it's really been a great year. I'm super honored, always grateful for these recognitions.
Well, she's incredible. For those of you brand new to the show and haven't met Jeanette yet, let's just say, on top of that, I mean, that's just like the 10% of what I've shared so far. Her bio goes on and on, but basically, she's a powerhouse. She's an advocate for women and diversity. She's been a speaker at global conferences, including the Women Economic Forum, which is huge, multiple countries. I mean, she goes everywhere, speaks to but most importantly, I'm just grateful that she's a dear friend. And when I asked her to come and be on our show, she agrees because Jeanette, I feel like we have so much to talk about when it relates to travel. I mean, you are a journalist at heart, right? You are a journalism major. You know that this is certainly newsworthy information and also something that when you talk to people, let's just put it out there. We talked about holiday stress and like anxiety and who's coming over for dinner around the holidays. I'm guessing that you are the most popular person at the dinner table. I don't think I'm guessing that the problem that you have is you get invited to too many dinners and lunches and everybody wants to talk to you and see your pictures. Is that a real problem that you face?
Yes, I'm very popular for travel, not so much for my cooking, but yes, for travel for sure. Um, One question I get almost daily is asking for recommendations. Hey, for example, a family or a mom will reach out. Hey, we're thinking about taking our family here during this time period. What do you think? Or do you recommend hotel, Airbnb? Or I mean, just tons of different kinds of questions. But on the daily, even by my own family members, I'm asked travel questions. And since Thanksgiving was so recent, my mother did travel, and I picked her up at LAX. One day prior to Thanksgiving. And that week, TSA's numbers for this year's Thanksgiving week was record breaking. I printed out some of TSA's numbers, and on November 26th of this year, it was 2.9 million travelers that went to airports on that day. So if that's any indication for Thanksgiving, I can only imagine what's going to come for Christmas, and we have New Year's just around the corner. So I expect and anticipate a lot of holiday travel before Christmas, and then during New Year's and after New Year. And I myself am traveling. I'm going to Mexico, Mexico City for Christmas, and I'll be in Tulum for the New Year. So I will be one of probably the millions of travelers also heading out very soon.
Okay, Jeanette, so we get it. You are in travel, you're a great planner, and you've picked some great destinations. But let's face it, I mean, everybody is so busy these days and they're juggling work and family and other obligations. And as much as we hate to admit it, there's a lot of us that are still sort of unplanned, right? They procrastinated. Now they're looking for last minute deals. Maybe they want to get out of town. Maybe they want to catch a flight out of LAX. I don't know. You know, but I'm gonna guess, and I've heard this on and on. And we're looking at the first week of December, right? We still have 3 more weeks, and then you talked about the first week of January. A lot of kids are out of school. A lot of people have a few days of PTO, paid time off of work. Where do they go to find? Or let me circle back. Are there still good flight deals or travel things that they can take advantage of right now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's still last minute flight deals. For example, Southwest recently is talking about $39 sales, starting as low as $39 one way, depending which airport. John Wayne is definitely on there, LAX, a lot of the major national airports going both domestic internationally have these deals going on. This specific deal with Southwest, I believe it's to the end of December 8th. So it doesn't last very long. So if you're interested, I would have a look at the Southwest website. And other airlines are having these deals. It also depends where you're going, right? Is it going to be a very popular time to go? For example, New York City is very popular for Christmas and New Year. We have travelers that are going for the famous ball drop, which I did twice. And I was one of the people pre-pandemic who stood outside of Times Square for 12 hours and wanted to have that experience. I will never do it again, but I did it. So I'm sure there's a lot of travelers who are looking maybe to have those kind of experiences that still are possible. But I say the longer you wait and procrastinate, the less likely you will be able to grab those great deals. So if you don't have any plans yet, I would definitely start looking as soon as possible.
Amazing. Okay, Jeanette, I want to say a big welcome. We see Frandy joining us on YouTube Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, lots of you. Now, if you have questions during the show, Jeanette is live. There's just certain things that you want to ask about your travel, your questions, like where you're going to go this year or planning for next year. Definitely drop them in comments. We'll try to monitor and bring your questions in as much as we can here. But let's talk about this, Jeanette. One common question, especially since we just passed Thanksgiving, is like where to go, right? We know that with Thanksgiving, for example, there are certain countries outside or many countries outside the United States that don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So it offered Americans an opportunity to go to different places that were less crowded and perhaps less expensive. Now, let's talk about like the December and New Year's. Are there certain local, national, or international destinations that people should consider visiting during the holidays that maybe aren't so crazy? I mean, you're going to Mexico City, and let's be honest, Mexico City is beautiful and really, really popular. Are there other suggestions that you might have?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another option. If you're looking at potentially, like, let's say there's a lot of retreats that are also going on, a lot of wellness retreats. Also, there's national parks. So if you're looking into maybe doing a road trip for the new year or Christmas time, those are often also options that are low season, less people, less crowds. So if you're looking for something a little more quiet, a little more serene, I would look into these options of nature that are around in the US. I would say this year I went to Yosemite National Park for the very first time, and we got an Airbnb in a cabin, and we were just surrounded by nature, and it was a beautiful experience with my family. That's another option for travelers if you want to maybe stay local. I know here in California, there's plenty of options all over the Midwest, of course, the South. So there's plenty of options. I think it's going to vary on what the traveler is looking for. Are you looking for nature, wellness, serene? Or are you looking for example, the big cities? Are you looking for the big parties? Because it's all out there. I think it's just going to depend what you're looking for and how to start the new year.
I love that. And then like I think one thing that you taught me, Jeanette, from our previous show too, is the concept of staying flexible and just looking at what deals are available and say, hey, I haven't been here. That sounds great. One of my good friends, he takes his family of five every year. Their tradition for the winter holiday is to visit Africa. And I'm like, and he's like, it's great. Sometimes you might not think about going there, but it's wonderful. They love the experience, and that's sort of become their family tradition. So Jeanette, I'm hoping to do something like that with my family. This year we are quite busy, so I think we're gonna be. I kind of like to do the opposite, Jeanette. I like to travel like in sort of the off season as much as possible, and I like to stay home. For example, we went out during Veterans Weekend, which was 2 weekends before Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving we kind of just hunkered down and stayed home and spent time with extended family. So that's kind of what I do. But let's talk about this. We got to go in a deep. One thing that I know a lot of people are thinking about, of course, as we go into the end of the year here, but also the next year, is this concept of New Year's resolutions, right? Especially when it comes to your money and your finances. We want to know what we're saving for, and we want to know what to look forward to, and what's a priority, a financial priority in our life. I know a lot of you will say travel is something I definitely wish I could do more of. Maybe I don't have enough money, or I don't think I have enough money. Maybe I don't think I have enough time to do this. And so, Jeanette, I know this is something that you've kind of touched upon, and I was hoping you could share with us this concept of sort of a travel vision board element. Like, is this something that everybody can do? Is this something that everybody should do? And like, I don't even know what this really means. So maybe you could share and lead us through this path.
Absolutely. I personally love vision boards. Vision boards, it can be images or affirmations. It can be on your phone, or it can be on a physical board. And it's about goals that you have. And it could be career related, it can be travel related, it can be related on any area of your life that you want to focus on. And so I started my first vision board about 5 or 6 years ago in my studio in Beverly Hills. And I have not stopped ever since. And just talking to a lot of people over the years, especially during the pandemic, when no one was traveling, including myself, I realized how travel is really a mindset. So when we talk about travel, a lot of people do think far and expensive, maybe, but also traveling can be going for a walk, taking a different route to the work, maybe going to a park, traveling within the 3-hour radius of the city or town that you live in, or doing a staycation. So travel is really a mindset. And another way I look at travel vision boards, and why over the years I've done events and speeches about it, and I was in Toastmasters as well, and I've done workshops with my previous Toastmaster club in Beverly Hills, is with a vision board specifically on travel, we allow ourselves the opportunity to put a picture, put a goal. For example, I'll give you one of mine. I would love to go to Peru, South Africa, Iceland. These are just several examples of destinations that I would like to go to. So on my personal vision board for 2024, I'm going to put images and the word Peru, Iceland, South Africa, because these are places where I'm going to allow myself the opportunity to dream about, to look at it, to focus on it. And that's just a small way. People can put it on their phone screensavers. And I've done workshops all over Los Angeles, Orange County, virtually during the pandemic, just to help people with the mindset of travel. So, it's a little bit about me, and I've done it for fun, but it really grew organically. I'm doing a workshop in Nashville in January as well for a group of women entrepreneurs. And so for me, it's kind of my way to give back as far as travel. And it's been a lot of fun. And just the other day on LinkedIn, an attendee who did one of my workshops during the pandemic did a shout out and told me, this and this came true. Thank you, Jeanette. And I'm like, this is so great. It's just such a great tool for your goals. And I think travel is definitely could and should be on there because it's important. And yeah, there's so much to see.
Well, I love that you said it could and should, and there's so much to see because that is so true. When it comes to like putting together goals, of course, we all have like, professional goals or maybe educational goals or business goals, but you gotta have a goal that feeds your soul. And the great thing about travel, like you and I have had talked, we actually spent some time together in person back in, it seems like forever, but it was back in the day and it was wonderful. We just sat there and it's like, travel is one of those things where you get so much out of it. You get to reset, you get to rest, you get to see places and enjoy, and you get to learn. I do feel that this is part of our journey, like, right? And I love how you mentioned it can be as easy as going to a park or even national park. It can be as big as getting on a plane and taking a seaplane and doing all this crazy stuff. But whatever floats your boat. But I love the idea of having that visual goal because what a great way to end into the end of 2023 and look towards 2024 and have something top of mind. Now, I'm not sure, Jeanette, that I would put it as my phone screensaver, but I don't hate that idea either. It might be a collage of sorts. It could be like your phone saver is your vision board. I will be honest, I haven't done a vision board. For those of you who are tuning in with us live, I'm curious to see if you've done a vision board, if you're joining us on replay, share in comments too. What's on your vision board? Are you willing to share with us? Because I would love to hear that. Okay, well, let's talk about some other things that we talked a little bit about some of those trends, right? And you talked about those TSA numbers being so huge. Now, I want to talk to you about, some common mistakes that you see that people make when planning holiday travel and how can we avoid them? Because let's be honest, like all it takes is like you forgetting something important on your trip or you get there and like there's been an issue with your room. I mean, quickly, these can be vacation stresses. Maybe we can sort of piggyback on your experience and learn from you of some of the things not to do when traveling.
Yeah, absolutely, Winnie. One for sure is, and it's a tip that I do myself on any trip, is on your carry-on, have an emergency outfit. If you have, of course, anything important like medication, those, have everything that's really important on your carry-on. But if you're going somewhere tropical, or if you're going to, let's say, like a big event like a wedding and you're a bridesmaid, I've been there before, or you're the bride, have everything in your carry-on or take it on the plane with you because maybe if you have a connection, your luggage may get to one destination or you may get to your final destination, but your luggage may be stuck in the connection. Another thing that might happen is, as we may have seen in the headlines prior to the weather, it's something unpredictable that many people don't know maybe until the day you arrive to the airport is predicting the weather, and that may cause some unexpected delays, cancellations. So it's always important in your carry-on specifically to have, at least I would say one emergency outfit. And of course, if you're going somewhere tropical or a big event, to have that with you just in case, because you're good to go, even if your luggage may be delayed, for example. That's one tip that I always do myself. Another tip I would say, if you don't already have TSA PreCheck, or global entry, now's a good time to apply. It's been the best investment for me. Even when I did a recent trip outside of John Wayne Airport, you could see the difference between the TSA security line and just the other line. It can save you a lot of time if you're running behind for your flight, and it's just good to have. And then on TSA pre-check, you don't have to take off your shoes, you don't have to take out your laptop, so it's also more convenient. You just kind of go through, of course, quicker. So that's another tip that I have. Also, if you're going somewhere that may be a winter destination in at the end of this year, look into the weather forecast. I know that I've been seeing some news that even the East Coast, there may be some snow predictions coming up. So definitely keep an eye on the weather of where you're going. And if look into travel insurance, because that may help you in case there's any kind of cancellations, depending where you're going.
Those are such great tips, Jeanette. I mean, so smart. I'm totally with you. When we used to film this show out of New York City at NASDAQ Studios, that's exactly what I would do. I would make sure that I had my, key outfit for the show, and of course my makeup case as well on my carry-on, or at least in my suitcase that I put over, overhead, but it was like with me, because that happens and you can't control it. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes weather, sometimes planes get delayed and your luggage is late and then you're stuck. And you might think, oh, well, I get there, I can just go to the mall and pick up. It's actually not that easy, and it creates a lot of stress. So having those like little elements makes life really, really easy. I love that you shared that. Thank you so much for that. All right, well, let's continue. I mean, one of the things that, I loved you sharing this with me the first time I met you and the last time you were on our show too, is sort of those like lesser known destinations that sometimes people don't think about, but these would be great places for holiday travel and creating those unique experiences. You talked about Yosemite, but there other places that, people may not think about for the holidays?
Yeah, I mean, think maybe like the desert, going to Sedona, going to Utah or the Midwest. These are places that are pretty popular year round, but you might not think about specifically during the winter. So maybe also somewhere tropical if you're thinking about maybe the Caribbean or going. I mean, Mexico is always going to be very popular, but or Canada, or going somewhere if you're thinking. That might be different or new. And also, yeah, there's so many places to go locally, of course, in California, for example. I also went to Santa Maria Valley, which was about 4-hour road trip from Orange County recently, which was a fun weekend getaway. There's Temecula, there's wineries. There's a lot around, both locally and nationally and internationally. So for me, myself, I've done a lot of that this year, and national parks is definitely one of my goals for next year as well. I would love to go to more. For me, it's something I would like to check off my travel bucket list, and I'm sure you will see them also on my new 2024 vision board, travel vision board.
Ooh, 224 Vision Travel. I love that. Let me tell you, if you haven't been, Jenna, I'm guessing you have, but one of my favorite national park is gotta be Yellowstone and Wyoming. It's just like I could go there. I love doing the hiking there, and I'm not a big hiker, but I love the views were incredible. I love this. Now, I gotta ask you this. I see Carlos joining us on a YouTube live. My dear friend Carlos, also here in Orange County. It's great to have you here, Carlos. We got to talk about technology, right? On this show, we love talking about tech. And we want to talk about what are some apps, maybe some new tools, technologies that maybe haven't been our radar or just need to be back on our radar. I know I've been reading a lot about what Google's doing in the world of tech. What are some of your favorites that you have on your smartphone or on your computer that you use to guide yourself and your clients?
I really love Flight Tracker. It's one of my personal favorites. For even when I'm not traveling, but let's say, for example, when my mom or family members traveling, I'm an AV geek. I love aviation. I love planes, and I love just tracking the flight and seeing where it's at, and that's really fun for me. There's a couple apps out there too that helps travelers, for example, with jet lag. So that's something that I think will also continue to be popular, because it's something that, for me as well, when I travel really far distances, let's say I've been to Australia, India, when I went to Egypt, it's what I like to do is to put my schedule one day prior on that time zone where I'm going. So that will change if I sleep on the flight or if I'm awake. I try to do that. But now there's a lot of apps that help you, for example, to combat as best as you can jet lag, which is something that everyone experiences, even myself. So, yeah, I look into a lot of those apps as well. I know that flight air tags have been popular as well. So people trying to keep track of their luggage. That's something that I think we'll continue to see how that works. So a lot of people have been talking about that, but I think technology is very important. Of course, I also am active on all the airline apps, that I keep track of my flights. I can tell kind of ahead what's going to happen. So that I would say those are some good ones.
Thank you so much. I've written them all down, Jeanette. And I know if you follow Jeanette, she'll share with you along the way as she like this decide or she finds new ones or she wants to share new ones. I love it. All right, Jeanette. Well, you know the drill. You've been on the show. And so we thought we had some fun and we would do a little speed round with you. What do you think? Are you ready?
I'm excited. I'm ready, and I'm already ready. Yeah, see, I'm ready to
Yay.
go.
Well, let's get started.
Speed round.
Well, Joshua, I know you've been thinking we haven't done speed round in a long time. I know we haven't, and this is why we got to bring it back. And it's so much fun. Jeanette, you're on the hot seat. You get 2 questions in approximately 2 minutes, but we want to hear these questions and we want to hear your answers most importantly. So first question, Jeanette, you've been given, this is of course not real. This is, let's dream a little bit. You've been given 3 free round trip tickets to leave on Christmas Day this year. Where do you go and who do you take?
Ooh, okay. So Peru would definitely be one because Machu Picchu has been my bucket list. I would take my mom. Iceland, I would also go. I would take my sister, and South Africa, I would love to go, and I would take my best friend, Isabel.
Amazing. All on Christmas Day. You're going to go 3 places on Christmas Day.
I would do it if I could.
I love it. I love it. Great answer. All right. Then here's the next question. Now we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I want to see what you think about this. So aside from your ticket, your passport, I'm guessing your phone charger, what other things do you take with you on your carry-on?
Ooh, that is a great question. I love being old school, so I love having a notebook and a pen, just literally taking notes since I was about 12 or 13 years old. And I had a disposable camera when I traveled to Mexico with my grandparents. And so that has not really changed. I still have a notebook and a pen always handy, and just being the journalist in me writing down. But I have leveled up and upgraded my disposable camera since then. So now I have a great Nikon camera, professional camera. I have that with me. Let's see what else I have. Chapstick and lip gloss, just because, I don't know, I just, love to have that on me. And I don't know, I would say I've been really lately into crystals, like having a crystal with me or something like that can help me with my anxiety. I like to meditate as well or do affirmations on planes. I love to listen to podcasts. So something maybe different, but now I like to bring it with me when I travel.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I don't know about you, but I love this show. It's so much fun. Jeanette, we're definitely going to invite you back and hopefully you will join us again because we learned so much. Where can people go to follow you, learn more about your adventures, and of course, the services that you offer too?
Yes, thank you so much, Wendy. I'm always happy to be on your show, to see you virtually and in person. So thank you so much. I love to help inspire, empower others to travel. So you can always find me. I'm on Instagram at Jet Set with Jeanette, Twitter, X, Jeannette Ceja. I'm also on Facebook at Jet Set with Jeannette and LinkedIn, Jeannette Ceja. So one way or the other, you can connect with me. It's me, so I reply. It might take a minute, but I do get back. And yeah, I love to connect with people from all over the world and just to talk about travel. It really like my love of my life.
I love it. And you get to do what you love for your life as your profession. And what a gift that is. Thank you so much, my dear friend, for being here. And thank you, everybody who is joining us live on the show. Let me just kick it off. The market's got about less than 30 minutes left to go, but currently, Dow is up 52 points. The Nasdaq's up 180 points. And the S&P 500 also in the positive, still up 33 points. We will take it. What a beautiful day and what a gift to spend this time with all of you. A heartfelt gratitude. Thank you to you for being here, being our fantastic audience, for being part of Level Up Live. If you found value in this video, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to keep up with all the latest updates. And of course, for full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun, you can check us up on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and many other streaming platforms. And if you share the show, make sure to tag at Winnie Sun so I can definitely thank you on a future episode. A big thank you to Carlos, a big thank you to Joshua, a big thank you to Vicky, and so many others who have been doing that for us every single week, especially last week. I saw it. Thank you so much, friends. And of course, if you want a deeper dive into even more insightful content, check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun on the Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. With that, thank you so much. I'm going to be back with you tomorrow live with my dear friend Greg Nibbler as we host In the Loop. So until tomorrow, see you very soon. Thank you so much, Jeannette, too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Happy travels, everyone.